A narcissist spends their whole life trying to convince you they're fearless, untouchable, invincible, and above everyone else. But the truth is, they are some of the most terrified people you will ever meet. Their fear leaks out in every moment. They try hardest to hide it. You see it when you pray and suddenly they cannot sit still because your connection to God, something higher, makes them restless. You see it when you look into their eyes without flinching and they cannot hold your gaze. You see it when you walk into the house laughing after spending time with people who love you and they punish you for daring to be happy. You see it when you begin earning your own money and they belittle it because independence means they are losing control. You see it when you play with your pet or child and they glare with jealousy because they cannot feel the same love. You see it when your children pour affection on you and they retreat knowing they cannot compete with that purity. And you see it when you stop giving them empathy, when you respond with indifference instead of comfort. And they spiral into rage because their most reliable weapon has stopped working. These are the cracks in their mask. These are the moments they cannot fake. And once you recognize them, you stop seeing them as powerful and start seeing them as small because that's the reality. I'm Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. The topic for today is 7 times a narcissist accidentally shows you they are afraid of you. Before we get started, make sure to get on my waiting list for the membership program called Thrive After Narcissistic Abuse, which just closed. If you do not want to miss the next opening, get on the list. Link is in the description of this episode. Number 1, when you pray and they suddenly get restless. Prayer and meditation are moments of surrender. You leave behind the noise of the world, the chaos of their relationship with you, and the constant pressure to give attention to them. For a narcissist, that silence is unbearable. It's not just that you are ignoring them, no, it is that you are connecting to a power greater than them. And that makes their demonic self feel exposed. At a spiritual level, it's crazy, it's evil. A lot of survivors describe the narcissist's presence during prayer as almost demonic, like I said. It is as if something inside them is threatened by the purity of what you're doing. They interrupt, mock, or disturb you. Why? Because they want to stop the very act that makes them feel powerless. Psychologically speaking, it's about abandonment and rejection. The narcissist cannot tolerate a reality where you are not orbiting around them. Your prayer is proof that you can exist without them. That terrifies them more than anything else because it signals that you could one day leave them behind entirely and be happy on your own. Number 2, when you hold their gaze in silence and they nervously look away. Eye contact is one of the most primal forms of communication. With a narcissist, it becomes a battlefield. For years, a lot of survivors avoid looking at the narcissist because their eyes feel intimidating and even dangerous. That is exactly the way they want it. They use their stare to dominate and silence you. But when you reach the point where you can look them in the eye without fear, the balance shifts completely. That silent stare communicates that you see through them. It tells them you are no longer fooled, no longer trapped, and no longer willing to play their game. The power of this moment is not in anger or shouting. It is in the calmness of your gaze. You see, narcissists thrive on chaos and reaction, right? But when you hold their eyes with quiet certainty, you rob them of their favorite weapon. They look away. Why? Because your gaze exposes the shame, the insecurities, and the smallness they spend their whole life trying to hide. This is my experience with my father. Number 3, when you come home laughing from time with friends and they sulk or pick a fight. Laughter is one of the purest signs of freedom, right? When you spend time with friends or loved ones who bring out joy in you, you return home with an energy that cannot be faked. That energy terrifies the narcissist. Why? Because your joy is independent of them. It proves that your happiness does not depend on their approval. It proves that other people can give you something they cannot. To them, this is betrayal. In their twisted logic, your laughter is not a sign of connection, it is a proof of disloyalty. That's why they sulk, withdraw, or explode into arguments. They need to dominate your joy, to make sure you never associate happiness with anyone but them. Misery is their comfort zone. When you refuse to share it, they punish you until you bend back into alignment with their bitterness. Number four, when you start earning and gaining financial independence, very important. Money represents survival, as simple as that. When you begin earning your own, it signals that you are capable of surviving without them. To a narcissist, this is terrifying because it removes their strongest chain, financial control. They will never openly celebrate your independence. Instead, they will undermine it with backhanded comments. They may say, "You're working too hard," or that your focus on money is unhealthy, or that you are wasting your youth by being responsible, like my father said to me when I started earning. Beneath those words is fear. Fear that you will no longer need them, fear that you could walk away, fear that their grip is slipping. This is why a lot of survivors report financial abuse. It's a part of this whole experience. Narcissists drain accounts, sabotage careers, or guilt you into handing over your resources. They cannot stand the idea of you having power they cannot touch. Your financial independence does not just represent money, it represents freedom. And freedom terrifies them like nothing else. Number five, when you play with a pet or child and they glare with jealousy. Love given freely is something a narcissist cannot process. When you laugh with a child or play with a pet, the love in that moment is pure, unconditional, and mutual. To you, it feels natural. To them, it feels like exposure. They glare because what they're seeing is something they cannot feel. They can pretend in public. They can mimic affection when it benefits them, but deep down, they are empty. Your playfulness with a child or pet reminds them of that emptiness. That is why they lash out with shocking cruelty. My own mother once said to me on a phone call, "I hope your cat dies." That was not a slip of the tongue. It was a reflection of the deep jealousy that eats away at them. Your joy feels like death to an arc. And when they see you giving love so freely, they're reminded of everything they cannot be. Number six, when you receive love from your children and they withdraw. There are few things more beautiful than a child's love. It's pure, innocent, and unearned. When a narcissist witnesses that love being poured onto you, they cannot stand it. They know they cannot compete. They know they will never inspire that kind of devotion. And in that moment, I'm telling you, their mask cracks. They may glare, sulk, or retreat into silence, but underneath is the same truth. What is that? They're terrified of being replaced. This is why you may recall strange punishments or manipulations after moments of closeness with your child. If you do, let me know in the comments. The narcissist feels exposed and powerless. They resent the bond you have because it reminds them of the bond they will never form. For them, your child's love is not a blessing, it is proof of their failure. Number seven, when you show coldness instead of empathy. If there is one thing a narcissist counts on, it is your empathy. They survive by pulling at your compassion, making you feel guilty, and keeping you trapped in cycles of care. But when you take that away, I'm telling you, when you respond with indifference instead of warmth, it shakes them to their core. I experienced this with my mother. She tried the same emotional games she always had, but this time I did not respond. I gave her nothing, zero, and that nothing drove her into rage. She screamed, accused, and tried everything to pull me back into the cycle. But it did not work. That is the moment a narcissist feels true fear. Because if their manipulation cannot reach you, then they have no control left. Your indifference is the end of their power. And once you learn how to hold that coldness, they know they can no longer own you the way they once did. So, bringing it all together, each of these moments may look ordinary on the surface, but they are the clearest signs of the fear narcissists carry inside. They cannot handle your prayer because it lifts you above them. They cannot handle your gaze because it reflects their shame. They cannot handle your laughter, your independence, or your bond with children or pets, your indifference, because each one strips away their illusion of power. The narcissist may spend their life pretending to be invincible, but in these moments, they accidentally show you the truth. They are terrified of you and always have been. So you must reclaim that power, and I help you do so in my membership program. So make sure to sign up for the waiting list. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.